Welcome, faith builders. Today, we're delving into the ancient and fascinating first book of Adam and Eve, a tale that takes us beyond the familiar Genesis story. Join us as we explore the first 10 chapters, filled with drama, emotion, and profound lessons. Let's embark on this journey. Our story begins with Adam and Eve being cast out of the Garden of Eden. Stripped of their immortality, they are now thrust into a harsh, unforgiving world. When Elohim made them go out of the garden, he did not send them northward, cause of its healing waters' cleansing powers, nor to the southward side of the garden cause of the delicious smell of the garden trees. But Elohim made them dwell in the western border of the garden, because on that side the earth is very broad, and commanded him to dwell there in a cave, a rock, the cave of treasures below the garden. Chapter 1 paints a vivid picture of their sorrow and confusion as they leave paradise behind. In chapter 2, Adam and Eve discovered their new home, the cave of treasures. This dark, gloomy place contrasts sharply with the vibrant beauty of Eden. They fell to the ground as fear came upon them, and they were as though dead. Overwhelmed with despair, they cry out to Elohim, seeking understanding and comfort. Elohim pitied them when he saw them fall. He sent his word before Adam and even raised them from their fallen state. In chapter 3, Elohim continues to tell Adam of the years to come and how he will save him when the 5 days and a half are fulfilled, which is 5,500. But Adam didn't understand the meaning of what Elohim said. Adam wept and prayed for Elohim to explain, and he did. Adam and Eve tried to go back to the garden, but the cherub grew angry and frowned. They were afraid and fell to the ground as though dead. And the word of Elohim came unto them and raised them up, telling Adam to abide in the cave of treasures. Chapter 4 captures the terror of their first night outside Eden. With no protection from the elements, Adam and Eve experience fear and compare the cave to the beautiful garden, and how they have lost their grace and all their glory. Can't see the angels praising Elohim, weeping for the way they now look, suffering like never before. Their cries to Elohim are filled with anguish as they struggle to adapt and live in the cave. In chapter 5, Adam and Eve enter the cave and stood praying, but Adam could not withhold the pains, and he smote heavily upon his breast till he dropped and was dead. Eve cried and prayed to Elohim, confessing her sins and asking Elohim not to take the soul of Adam but revive him. And she wept bitterly and fell on Adam's body. Chapter 6 Elohim looked upon them, how they had killed themselves through great grief, but raised them and comforted them. Elohim reminded them that they have transgressed through their desire for divinity, greatness, and an exalted state by allowing the wicked Satan to deceive them. Elohim explained that he created the creations and had no intention to destroy his creations. Chapter 7 Adam and Eve wept and sobbed yet more, but strengthened their heart in Elohim, realizing that Elohim is just like a father and mother to them. For this reason, they wept and sought mercy before him. Adam pleaded with Elohim not to let the beast of the earth devour him and Eve, remembering that he named them, but after their transgression, the beasts might devour them from the earth. When Elohim heard this, he had pity on him and commanded the beasts and birds, and all that move on the earth to come to Adam and be familiar with him, and not trouble him and Eve. Then the beasts came to Adam according to Elohim's commandment, except the serpent. Chapter 8 Adam wept and said, O Elohim, recalls how when in the garden could see and hear the angels singing praises in heaven, but now could not, all creations became hidden from them. Then Elohim said to Adam, when thou was under subjection to me, had a bright nature within thee, and for that reason could thou see things afar off. But thy transgression, thy bright light was withdrawn from thee. After hearing these words from Elohim, they went away, praising and worshipping him with a sorrowful heart, and Elohim ceased to commune with them. Chapter 9 Adam and Eve came out of the cave of treasures and drew near the garden gate. looking and weeping for having come out from it, left the garden gate to the southern side of it, found the water that watered the garden, from the root to the tree of life, and parted itself into 4 rivers over the earth. Adam wept and wailed and smote his chest for being severed from the garden, and blamed Eve for the calamity that had to befallen them and their seeds, remembering when in the garden how they didn't care for the waters, but now in the strange land love the water and use it for their body. They both wept hard and fell into the water, hoping to die and never to return to, and behold the creation. For any time they saw the works of creation, they felt they must put an end to themselves. Finally, in the last chapter of this episode, chapter 10, then Elohim, merciful and gracious, looked upon them thus lying in the water, and nigh unto death, sent an angel, who brought them out of the water, and laid them on the seashore as dead. The angel reported to Elohim that his creatures have breathed their last. Elohim sent his word unto Adam and Eve, who raised them from the earth. Adam told Elohim how they did not need the water while in the garden, but since out, they could not do without it. Elohim explained to Adam that because of their transgression, thy body can't do without water, wherein to wash thy body and make it grow. For it is now like that of the beasts, and in want of water. Adam and Eve heard these words and wept bitterly, requesting to return to the garden and look at it a second time. But Elohim reminded Adam about the promise he made to him until it was fulfilled before he entered back into the garden, he and his righteous seed. And Elohim ceased to commune with Adam. The first 10 chapters of the first book of Adam and Eve take us on a profound journey from loss to hope. It's a story of human vulnerability, divine compassion, and the enduring strength of faith, yet loved by Elohim. Stay tuned for more deep dives into ancient texts, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so as not to miss the next episode. Thanks for watching. Let us meet in the comments section, share opinions, and discuss further. See you next time.